concept. That's a safe, careful.
Point out that the reason that Spaceship One and Spaceship Two have this feathering feature came out of the 60s. I worked with him. Edwards was killed in an X-15 flight, and he was killed. Any horizontal landing spaceship has to come in extremely accurate control of its angle of attack, and we can side-slip quickly within a handful of degrees. And it has to decelerate all the way from Mach 4 down to subsonic. It breaks up and kills everybody. And you know, we live with that. We think that's a necessity. I question that issue. I was concerned all during the theory would probably end up being a major safety concern for when duration with the flitter up and actually re-enter the atmosphere, not only at any attitude, but it can re-enter the atmosphere at any end, do a 40-degree angle into the atmosphere and a perfect pitch and yaw. This vehicle is designed to be able to go sphere, worst case, sideways or upside down. And the pilot doesn't have to control that. He can just sit there and it rights itself. That, we think, will give us the key feature goal of making these ships at least as safe as the early airlines when they were in.
Is that it's also intended to be a production program, which is really different for us for its drawing prototype to be able to produce many of these spaceships. So expect in the future to see a fleet of these flying around at your local airport. And finally, there are some research and changes, right, which means that we learn things from it. There are things that we would do differently if we had a chance to do it again. And that's reflected in the design. So, all really see these.
This system developed just of operations and to fly at low rates. We're actually developing the space day, and the launch airplane could make 3 or 4 launches per day. We believe that this system will reach a very large number of people. We expect we are in Galactic with options for 7 more spaceships. Will be operated in a lot of different spaceports around the world. And I've made a prediction that we can stay on 40 to 45 spaceships over the first operation, 12, that they could actually fly about 100,000 people in the first 12 years of operations. They're to start out to be flown at a high flight rate, which would probably be achieved, 5 or not a small program by any stretch of the imagination. We expect that our production company will be building at least 54 launch airplanes.
Thanks, Bert. Thanks, guys. Over 100 of our customers have come with us today to New York to witness the I want to extend true, particularly vehicles. Welcome to them, because without them we wouldn't be here today. And in fact, I think we should actually ask them to stand up if they're not already standing up, just so that we can give them a special round of applause. So could our national customers. Today, besides provided Virgin with an early assurance that our business had a ready market. A market which would justify our faith and investment in developing these vehicles, and of course establishing the world's first commercial numbers grows strongly. Well in excess now of 200 firm reservations and at least or over now $30 million in deposits. Interest in further 80 in the future, and that's before they've seen the images of these fantastic vehicles. Our customers, as you probably expect, come from an extremely broad and hail from around 30 countries now. and with the greatest possible respect to all of them, but despite their diverse experience space, had they applied to become a NASA astronaut or another government agency professional astronaut, I hope I'm not going to get into trouble for that. 7 years, hundreds of thousands, and that's because to make the 47, only around 460 or so have actually made it in a ruthless selection process that aimed to identify those. Now, there are frankly reasons into human cost, safety, complexity, good levels of manned space vehicles, why governments had to take this approach. But in doing so, a myth was created, and that myth was that getting into space and who were at the peak of their physical and mental fitness. We at Virgin actually never accepted that, and we decided to do something about it last suburb of Philadelphia. In a second, we thousands of that myth once and for all. Around 80 of our founder customers joined us on a series of G-Force training days at the NASA centrifuge facilities just down the road in Philadelphia, something which has normally just been the sole preserve of fast jet pilots and professional astronauts. I should also mention actually that credit Monday and Tuesday of agents, all 50 of our specially completed opening, and now are actually going to be opening the experience to the general public, so you can all have a go. The NASA centrifuge facility, and there's a model of the centrifuge there on my right, it's one of the most of its type, one of the most old, and has been specifically adapted to simulate both the cabin environment and also the G-force profile of SpaceshipTwo. Our founder certainly climbed into the second centrifuge. The heart rate was actually quite high at that point, and effectively went to space, experiencing 3.5 Gs on the way up and 6 Gs on to how some of them coped with that.